come into the scene here. Getting a few little things together here at the last second. Make sure everything's working good. I'm flying solo tonight. Looks like we're good and live. What is up, Jacktown? Feels like it's been forever since I've been back on live. Let's see. Give me just a second here. Let me get a couple things together. Plug my phone in. I've been rocking and rolling all day and hadn't charged my phone. Love it when it tells me this accessory doesn't work. We're almost ready. We got a good show for you tonight. A lot of stuff to talk about. Which, you know, it's funny. Always. All right. Cool. Everything's working. We're here. Crystal is running a family errand. Pick up one of the girls from work. So she may dive in late depending on how long we go. So it's just me tonight in my cubby hole. I've been reading my book. I got through chapter 1 last night. I've been stockpiling books. But have not. It's just like you got to make time to cut off all the noise around you, right? And just read. And that's harder than it seems, for me anyway. It's like I always feel like I got to have noise. Last night I just cut it all off. I was off work today, so I was able to stay up a little late. And I just read the whole first chapter of One Direction Home, A History of South Jackson by Vincent Venturini. And I hope I'm saying Vincent's last name correctly. And Doug Shanks. You got to check this book out if you're a historian of Jackson or just love Jackson history. It goes up to about 1975 is my understanding. And man, I would love to get a crew together and put a book together about 75 on. If you have any pictures of the old McDowell Road cruising days or any stories you would like to tell about the McDowell Road cruising days, I'd love to hear them. Especially pictures and video. If you were hanging out at Jitney, Apple Ridge, Junior, Greenlight, AC's, Sonic, McDonald's, any of those places back in the 90s, and mini trucks. You know, if you were in Twice as Many or any of those cool truck clubs, I would love to sit down and, you know, crack open the old VHS with you and get them converted to DVD or digital and see some pictures and get them scanned for you. I do not have any, and I was as deep as one could get into all that. All right. Look, we're going to run through it tonight. Thank y'all, everybody, for tuning in. I don't think I've been on since Friday or Saturday night when we kind of broke in to do a little emergency broadcast for a guy that was missing. Got in, got out. I deleted that video because they found him. There was no point leaving it up and confusing anybody. So, here we go. Today, Robert Foster and Tate Reeves, man. I tell you what, if you're not following former gubernatorial candidate Robert Foster on Facebook, Twitter, wherever, Facebook's as easy as anything. You're watching this on Facebook, follow him on Facebook. I don't care if you're a fan of Tate or not. They have been going at it. Well, he has been going at Tate. I don't know if Tate really cares. But Tater was in North Carolina over the weekend at a campaign rally for a potential governor there, Dan Forrest, and I guess his slogan is "Run, Forrest, Run." And we shared the post to the Save Jackson Facebook page, but Tate is all up in it, all hugged up, no mask, no social distancing, big rally. You know, we don't care. We are not mask supporters. We're not really social distance supporters. We're make your own choice supporters. If you don't want to wear it, don't wear it. I wear mine as little as absolutely possible just to get in and out of a few places and be respectful to the owners and get the hell out. And And every time I do it, I feel like a little part of me dies inside. Despise it. But, then Tate gets on his press conference today and somebody asked him a question about it. And he says, well, I'm only here at the governor's mansion. I never leave unless I'm exercising. Well, we could all say that. Well, I only go to work and home. I only go to the gym and home. Speaking of which, I got back in the gym today. Shout out to the gym at Byram. This is not a paid ad, but if you live on the south side of town, the east part of Rankin County, or I guess it would technically be the west part. Anyway, you live near Byram. The gym at Byram is the best gym in the area, hands down. There's not a close second. Give them a shout. To sit there and just play with our intelligence, like, well, I'm only at home or the gym. No, you were just in North Carolina. No, you're on the coast. I mean, again, I don't care. I just don't make rules for us peasants that you're not going to follow. I just think that's fair, right? If I have to do it because you say I have to do it, then you should have to do it. You're not my boss. You're my governor. I actually voted for you, and when I had to. So, I don't know, man. Check that out. It's worth the view. Follow Robert Foster if you're not. It will. I think you have to assume Robert is going to run for governor. I'm going to try to get him on the show here. A buddy of mine sent me his number recently. I'm going to get in touch with him as soon as I figure out how to do a internet interview. I hate doing that stuff. I like face to face. I may have to go to his restaurant and have a real sit down with him and do it like that, but I'll do whatever I need to do. All right, so state flag. We're down to 2. You've got the Magnolia, which, in my opinion, is the better of the 2. And then you have the Shield. I know they got technical names, but you know which 2 I'm talking about. One looks like a soccer team logo, or the U.S. soccer team logo, swim team, something like that. And one looks like a traditional flag. The one I liked, a lot of y'all busted my balls about. They said it looked like Bart Simpson. But I liked that one. I thought it was the best looking one. I'd still like to see that on something. I'd buy that on a shirt or a hat or something like that. I dug it. I don't care. It was Mississippi. Everybody's like, oh, it's Louisiana. No, it was Mississippi. We're the landmass next to Louisiana. Anyway, so we're down to 2. I guess the thing is, we're going to get to vote on those. Is that the deal? It's going to be on the ballot in November. I've got it pulled up here on WLBT. Let's see. From WLBT.com. Jackson, Mississippi. WLBT. It was an unexpected move by the State Flag Commission when they narrowed the options down to 2 designs. From digital to flying form, the 5 final designs flew one by one outside the old Capitol as commissioners and members of the public waited for just the right glimpse for a photo. And they did it on the least windy day during a hurricane. And they admit it made a difference to see them in that format. When we didn't have the breeze, the ones that have more or less the solid blue background, it just looked like a blue flag, said Commissioner Betsy Hamilton. 3 and 4, you could at least see multiple colors. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think the Magnolia one is the best. But look, I just don't care. I'll be honest. The flag is not my gimmick. I just don't care. And look, if y'all are watching this right now, thank you, because I see Trump on the TV in front of me speaking at the RNC. So if you're watching this right now while Trump is on, thank you. If I just turned you away because you didn't know Trump was on, please catch us on the recording. But look, hopefully they picked the one y'all like. It doesn't matter to me. It's over. The flag flap is over for me. I'm gonna move on. I recommend everybody kind of doing the same. I get it. Nobody likes the way it happened. It is what it is. It was time to change it, whether we agree or not. We're going to get a couple years down the road, and we're going to say, you know what, that didn't hurt anything. Kind of like getting a shot. Sometimes you need it, you don't want it. Did anybody see the Gulfport police fight I shared on Facebook the other day? You can see it on our Facebook page. We shared it. Down in Gulfport, and I don't know the exact date, but man, this cop and this big hefty white dude got into it, son, right there in the intersection. The police whooped that dude, man. I mean, just old school South Jackson and the Mullen McDowell Road whooped that dude. I just ain't seen a good fight like that. I mean, not take the uniforms off, and I mean it was just a good fight, or a good beating, however you want to look at it. Nobody got shot, nothing bad. I say all that to say that a lot of people were all off in the comments talking about, well, you could tell he wasn't black. Da 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 da. Man, look, and maybe there's some stories I'm missing. I try not to look at everything from a national perspective. I try to keep stuff local. If y'all see me looking down at my phone, I'm looking at my phone. Comments. I try not to look at everything national. I try to be like, how does it affect me? How does it affect us? And am I missing something? Because the only 2 incidents that I know of where somebody got killed this year were with cops getting killed at the hands of African Americans, unfortunately. The older man in Simpson County that got killed, and his killer was arrested without incident. And then there was the highway patrolman who got killed off duty up in North Mississippi. And again, his killer taken in without incident. Oh, and then I don't know if this is in the last year. I want to say it's definitely in the last 12 months. The Biloxi PD that got assassinated in the parking lot. Young African-American male pulls up and just blows his brains out. And I only mentioned that, and he got arrested without incident. And I only mention that. I don't like talking about race. I really don't. It's very uncomfortable. It's a tough, people always talk about, let's have that tough conversation. It is. It's a tough conversation to talk about because, people just, they dig into their sides. But if we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about, police violence towards African Americans, we have to talk about the flip side of that, right? And here locally, I just don't see it, especially in Jackson. So, I don't know. Check out the video and sound off in the comments. So, I don't know, man. Treat people right. If you get pulled over, act right. Act right. Shut the hell up and act right. I know I've talked about this before. I probably talked about it on a dozen live feeds in the past. If you get when police quit messing with me, or when I quit getting what I felt like the wrong end of the deal from police when I got pulled over, was when I learned to shut the bleep up and comply. It sucks, man, because as men, we're like, I ain't just gonna let another man tell me what to do. I don't like that. I mean, it's belittling. It's a stroke at our egos, or a punch at our egos. It's definitely not a stroke. We don't like that. We don't like authority. We don't like being told what to do by somebody else that we may not see as an equal. Maybe it's somebody maybe somebody you went to school with, whatever the case may be. But you have to bite your tongue. You have to just do what it takes to get on down the road. It sucks in that moment. I get it. But if you ain't doing nothing wrong, if you ain't got no warrants, I don't know what to say. I don't like talking about this stuff. It's extremely uncomfortable, but I feel like somebody's got to say it. And sometimes it's best to be able to say it uninterrupted, in a setting like this. So start teaching your children how to come home. I'm going to steal that quote from Napoleon. I want to make sure I give him credit. He's like, teach your children how to get home. And I agree 100%. If they talk about diverting money from here, from there, well, how about divert it into the classrooms to teach kids? If it is so important and such an epidemic or a pandemic, kids not, people getting killed by cops, let's start teaching people how to deal with a traffic stop in school. That may be something they can actually use in their life. Not algebra, not chemistry. Maybe start teaching people life skills like that. And let's see if we can start getting our kids home, from getting pulled over. If in your community that is such an issue, if that's the number one issue in your community, you probably live in a pretty good community. Let's be honest. If cops are the number one perpetrators of murder in your community, you probably live in a pretty good community, because let's be honest, the numbers are highly, highly low. Highly, highly low. The numbers are very low. in the cases that happens in. So, granted, one death is too many, but if that's the number one issue in your community, let me know. Drop that community in below, because that's where I want to move, is to that community. We got to be real about some of this stuff, man. Let's see, man. I'm kind of looking through the comments here. You know, I get a little off track here. This wasn't on my notes, but I see where all these NBA teams and NFL teams and this, that, and the other, they're going to protest this most recent deal up there in Wisconsin. That's funny. Speaking of that, you know, and by funny, I mean in the irony way, not in the comical way. Another police shooting involving, you know, a minority, not in the South. For all the hell we catch down here in the Bible Belt, we just don't have these situations down here. Sans that one in Atlanta recently at the Wendy's. But if anybody in their right mind thinks that dude was in the right and the police were in the wrong, you're wrong. Period. You're wrong. You don't steal a weapon from an officer and not expect to get shot. Come on. But these things don't happen in the South. It happens in these weird, highly white liberal areas like Minnesota. I don't know the demographics of Wisconsin. I know it's very white. Wisconsin is extremely white. I don't know if they conservative or Democrat, but I don't really care. I don't live there. So, anyhow, teach your kids how to handle a police stop, not to freak out and run or fight the cops. It's not how it works. It doesn't work for nobody. If I did the same thing, I would have got shot. Or I would have assumed I would have got shot. But whatever. I skipped. Okay, the COVID numbers. The coronavirus COVID-19 numbers today were 801 new cases and 67 deaths. So that's reporting through yesterday. Yeah, it's up from the week before. So the week before was 795 new cases and 34 deaths. But it's steady. You know, it's not just a big spike. I mean, I know when you almost double the deaths, that's not good, but the new cases are steady. Only up only up 6 new cases week over week, but almost 40 deaths. So that's not good. But I think the numbers are promising. Even with that, they've been steadily declining and kind of staying below 1,000 or well below 1,000, every day. So I need to look and see what the last 7-day average was. I just pulled Tuesday over Tuesday because those are usually the biggest days. So hey, whatever we're doing, it's working, and I do not give it the credit to mask and social distancing. I think it's just running its course. There's new numbers now showing that it really only takes about 20% of us to get to the herd immunity level, not 70 or 80% like originally expected. So that's a good thing. We need these kids back in school. They need to get it out of their system. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to discuss this a whole long time, but if you feel like you need to wear a mask, you feel like you need to socially distance, by all means, boo-boo, do those things. But, just socially distance your ass away from me. That's really all I got to say. Did anybody see the California TICK-TOCK house getting shut down? Be glad. Say what you want about Tate Reeves. We may not agree on everything. But did y'all see where the mayor, or I guess, I hate even mentioning his name, because I know Chalkley actually threatened this, but I guess he realized he couldn't do it. Or the clubs he wasn't involved in or friends with, he just couldn't do it. It wasn't going to work out for him. But the TICK-TOCK party house in Hollywood or Los Angeles had the water and power shut off by Mayor Garcetti. Let me kind of read you the quick little story of it here. And what do y'all think about that? Is that fair or foul? If you were having a gathering at your house and the mayor cut off your power and water, that feels pretty Nazi Germany-ish to me, right? That's some Hitler stuff, and that's a Democrat, so go figure. But anyway, the story goes. This is on the New York Times. The city of Los Angeles cut the power at Hollywood Hills mansion rented by TICK-TOCK stars Bryce Hall, Noah Beck, and Blake Gray on Wednesday in response to parties held at the residence amid the coronavirus crisis. Mr. Hall hosted a party for his 21st birthday on Friday, August 14th. Footage of the event posted on Instagram shows dozens of attendees crowded together in one room. After neighbors called in noise complaints, the event was shut down by the Los Angeles Police Department. The party took place at a rental home in Encino, not the Hollywood Hills home where the power was turned off on Wednesday night. Though Mr. Hall has hosted parties there too, Mr. Hall declined to comment for this article. On Wednesday, the Los Angeles mayor's office confirmed that the mayor had cut the power to Mr. Hall's residence. Mayor Eric Garcetti said in a statement that the city had been authorized to disconnect utilities, which include water and gas. So, two things there. It's a TikTok star, but the video was seen on Instagram. That's kind of funny. There's a part of me that can't help but say TikTok stars, TikTok teens shouldn't have been talking shit. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Look up the Trump rally and AOC and the TikTok teens. Shouldn't have been talking shit. But then there's that part of me that's, all about freedom and republic and all that good jazz. Being an American. You cannot cut off people's water. You have the right to gather. It's in the Constitution. You can do it. They can't tell you. What they're doing is illegal, and there will be lawsuits and massive ramifications from this moving forward. Once the dust and the smoke clears a little, these hardcore liberal mayors that have created these tyrannical laws or executive orders in their cities, I can't wait to see how it circles back and how many of them get voted out of office and arrested at some point. I completely expect perp walks with some of these mayors. I wasn't aware. I'm not as familiar with the New York political system. But so de Blasio is not up. He can't. They have term limits. Long story short. God, I wish we had term limits in Jackson. Because at least we would only be stuck with a terrible mayor for 8 years at a time instead of unlimited years at a time, because in Jackson they can run over and over and over. I mean, see Stokes as example A. But you can't be cutting people's power off because they had together. It's in the Constitution. Look it up. You have the right to freely assemble. It does not matter what it's for. They don't get to judge. They don't get to say, well, that was a party. Well, what's the difference in a wedding shower or a keg party? I mean, if people want to party, they're going to. It's just like up in these college towns with this COVID stuff. Saying, oh, well, these bars are all closed and stuff now. You don't think, but liquor stores are still open. You don't think teens and college kids and whatever just going to go to the liquor store, get them a bunch of bottles and go back and have a private party? You're not going to stop these things. I have a teenage daughter. I have one that'll be 21 tomorrow, one that's 18, and one that's 16. Good luck. Good luck stopping, young adults, teenagers from partying and gathering. But I don't know. TikTok teens shouldn't have been talking shit. All I can think of is Cat Williams saying that in my head. But anyhow. Real quick, before I forget, thank everybody for the prayers for my mom. Her knee surgery went great. She's recovering now, in good spirits, but just got the knee brace stuck on for the next 30 days. Can't do anything, so she's aggravated as all hell. But she's doing good. She's in good spirits. So thank you. One of my girls, Peyton, her birthday is tomorrow. She'll be 21. Happy birthday, Peyton. We love you. Moving forward here, in Pearl, at the Roses parking lot. And we've made endless jokes about the Roses parking lot in Pearl here on this page. Since the first week we had this page, the Pearl Roses parking lot has been one of the running jokes here because of the flooding. But I believe they got that fixed. There was some drainage stuff there. I could be wrong, but I believe they got it fixed. Anyway, there's going to be a state fair food festival with a ton of the vendors from the fair. set up in the Roses parking lot starting tomorrow, August 26th through September 6th. We shared this on our Facebook page. You can check it out. It looks delicious. I'm going to go get me an elephant ear and something fried. And say hey to my buddy Jake Wyndham while I'm there. Let's see. All right. I should be looking at the comments here, but it's really more for y'all to kind of raise hell back and forth, and I'll kind of jump in later. Do you think with COVID that they're going to cancel Halloween here locally? I'm sure the Republican mayor cities won't do it, but do you think Jackson, Vicksburg, the Democrat cities will cancel Halloween or trick-or-treating? Absolutely, if I had to bet $100 on it right now, I say they absolutely cancel Halloween, which I canceled Halloween about 10 years ago at my house. I keep it as dark as possible, and nobody knocks on our door here anymore. So Halloween has been canceled for me for a long time, but what do y'all say? What say you? Will Halloween be canceled? I do believe it will be, but again, just my opinion. They're going to cancel everything. They've canceled high school in Jackson. They've canceled high school sports in Jackson. I know they're doing distance learning, but you're gonna, the kids that need this the most, your inner city, bigger city kids that can't afford, whose parents typically can't afford private school, that work real, full-time jobs. These are the kids that need sports, and we've canceled them. Well, I'm not going to go down that again tonight. But shout out to MRA for their big win over Deion Sanders the other night. Great private school here in the central Mississippi area that is playing football. Oh, let's see. So I got a story here. Y'all know I've been harping about the Chicago mayor, Beetlejuice Lightfoot, saying that Mississippi was to blame for Chicago's gun violence. Well, there's a story on WLBT today from Therese Apel. I always thought her name was Therese, but I finally saw the H in it today for the first time. Therese Apel says, when Chicago Mayor Lightfoot mentioned Mississippi and Indiana as states with lax gun laws that contribute to the gun crime in her city, she was quoting from a Chicago study done in 2017. We spoke with federal authorities in Mississippi who were able to break down the actual numbers. Lightfoot talked about 60% of guns seized in violent crimes. The ones that could be traced came from out of state, but that means 40% of the traceable crime guns in Chicago came from Illinois. Exactly what I said. Stolen guns, untraceable. We know damn well that these gun shows and gun vendors here, or our quote-unquote lax gun laws, have nothing to do with people getting guns in Chicago. But let's see. Reading on. Our historic tracing numbers support that most states are their own biggest source area. So Illinois, Chicago is no different, said ATF Supervisory Special Agent Jason Denham. So it's not, I guess, misguided for the mayor to look beyond her own geographic region and also address the problems that are elsewhere and want to do something about it. But officials like Denham say the numbers may not be quite as shocking as the study makes them sound. Indiana and Mississippi are listed as the second and third highest suppliers of crime guns of the 27,000 cited in the 2017 study. But in the study, only 12,000 of those guns were traceable. Altogether, 756 were traced to Mississippi. Only 2.8% of the full 27,000 that were seized. So 2.8% of 27,000 guns is 756 guns that were seized in Chicago crimes were traced back to Mississippi. This is that point where I just kind of stand here and don't say anything because I'm like, I was right. I digress. That other 15,000 that couldn't be traced is a wild card that could skew the study either way. And yet, some want to claim that Mississippi is a major source of illegal guns in Chicago, and I don't think that any statistician in the country is going to say that less than 3% is a major source of anything, said U.S. Attorney Mike Hurst. Man, I tell you what, speaking of Mike Hurst, I wish that grown-ass man would run for mayor of Jackson. I know he probably would never win because people don't want to do right around here. But God, man, if we had an adult like Mike Hurst as the mayor of Jackson, could you imagine? Man, one can dream. One can dream. So anyway, I'm not going to read the whole article. It's on WLBT.com. Great work by Therese April there. Enjoyed that read. Moving on. Let's jump back into national politics just a little bit here, but local, talking about it locally. Will you vote in person or by mail? And I guarantee this is going to fall right down political lines. Republicans are going to go vote in person. Democrats are going to vote by mail. I did an absentee ballot last time because I was going to be out of town in 2016. Walked right in the Hinds County Courthouse, got it, sat down, filled it all out, handed it back to them in a sealed envelope, and they mailed it off or whatever it is they do with it. I don't want to sit here and pretend I'm a professional know-it-all about this kind of stuff. But I feel like voting in person is the way to go. I'm going to go right down here. I told y'all this last week. I'm going to go right down here to the church on the corner of Forest Hill and Terry Road at the entrance to Brooklyn. Was it far? Anyway, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I'm going to walk right in there. I'm going to walk to the table. They're going to say conservative or Democrat, or Republican or Democrat. I'm going to say Republican. They're going to show them my ID, because that's what we do in Mississippi. We show our IDs to vote. They're going to look my name up. They're going to hand me my ballot. I'm going to walk right in that voting booth. I'm going to say Trump and whatever else we're voting for at that time. That's the only one I'm really concerned about nationally. I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to walk out. I'm going to go to work most likely. I think it's on a Tuesday, I believe. We always vote on a Tuesday, first Tuesday in November. So I may be off that day. If it's on a Tuesday, I'm off that day. So either way, I'm going to come, I'm going to relax, I'm going to get on social media, I'm going to talk shit all day. And I'm either going to have to eat a big fat foot in my mouth, crow pie, or I'm going to celebrate. One or the other. Either one or the other are going to happen. We're either going to celebrate or we're going to eat crow. And I may have to deactivate my Facebook for about a week. I'm kidding. I take my L's just as good as anybody. I just don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. Kind of look through the comments here, man. I appreciate everybody hanging out here. Heather Tanner, Pearl Girl McClendon. How are you doing? I see you on here. First time I've seen you in a while. Christy Tolis, how you doing? These are some of our good personal friends here. Chris Williams, thank you, brother. I see you, you're voting in person. Dexter, what's up, brother? Chad, what's up? Jennifer, Jason, what's going on? Eileen, Tommy, Mary, Priscilla, Allison, Daryl, what's up, brother? Aaron, Corey. Man, everybody's on here tonight. My favorite crew of people, man. It's about 90 of us to 100 of us at any given time. Y'all the same crew that watches every week and or every night, however often we do this. And I do appreciate it, man. It really means a lot. Y'all be sure, if you're not a member of Jxn Uncensored, it's our Facebook group. It's Jxn Uncensored. Go join. We had some great conversation in there today. By the time I left the gym around 2 o'clock today, or no, about 1:30, one post by a former local business owner had already had about 500 comments. I had another post kind of followed up behind that, poking at him a little bit. You know, we go at each other pretty hard in there. I like to say it's in good, clean fun. It is for me. You know, you can definitely go in there and poke the bear a little bit. We have some really good conversation. Everybody always says we got to have that tough conversation. We have it in the Jxn Uncensored group every day. There are tough conversations. You may not like it, but I respect people on both sides of the argument going in there and having those conversations. And you know, I think it's healthy. I really do. You know, you may get mad at each other, you may want to punch each other, but we have good conversation. It's something that got brought up today. Is there a difference? We always hear about white flight as being one of the reasons why Jackson is in the condition it's in, the tax base left, yada, yada, yada. But can you not make an argument that the same thing can be said for black flight? I mean, that is a thing, isn't it? I mean, if there's white flight, there's black flight. I mean, I know where more African Americans move out of state. You know, y'all, so especially Atlanta around here. A lot of folks move from Jackson to Atlanta. I mean, David Banner said it best in one of his most popular songs, one of his first hits. I'm from Mississippi, but I moved to Atlanta. Anyhow, he would kill me. He probably hates me anyway, but probably love to know that a 43-year-old white guy was quoting his lyrics on a podcast here. But is there any difference? Somebody said the actual term is urban flight. Color be damned. And I was like, you know what, that actually makes a lot of sense. And I'd heard that before and just forgotten it. You know, I think that's what it's urban flight. If you can afford, if your neighborhood goes to hell and you have the financial means to leave and the city that you live in is doing nothing about it, there is nothing wrong with you leaving that area. You are not a bad person for saying that, hey, I worked my ass off. I deserve better. You know, one of the reasons we stayed so long is because we lived in a nice neighborhood, and it's still a nice neighborhood, but the area around it has gone to hell. It is what it is. You know, I mean, it ain't this neighborhood's fault that Jackson can't keep clean water, that Jackson can't pave their roads. This Forest Hill Road area is one of the, I would have to assume, one of the highest tax paying areas in the city, behind, only the Eastover area. Just my opinion there. I haven't looked at the numbers. I don't know, but, I know our council and mayor have done shit for us. Excuse my cussing tonight. I know I've said the S word a lot, but, I'm just aggravated. You just think about it, man. It just pisses you off to know that you sometimes you feel like, and by you I mean me, sometimes I feel like in my family that we're the band playing on the deck of the Titanic while all the lifeboats have gone the other way. And we probably should have jumped on a lifeboat, about 2 or 3 years ago, but stuck it out, for whatever reason or another. You just regrets, as they say. So anyway, is there a difference in white flight and black flight? Or is it just, hey, I've worked my ass off. I'm going to do right by my family and get them out of here and get them into a better school and move forward. I think it's a fair question. I don't feel like that's a slight at anybody to ask that question. I think it's a fair conversation, and it's a conversation that should be had. There was a drive-by in Jackson last night, right there at the corner of Lynch and Ellis. It's the second time in the last 2 weeks that there's been a shooting at that that intersection. And that intersection is really close to my heart. My dad's convenience store was right there on the half a block down the road on Lynch. If you grew up in Jackson, my dad's store, the shortstop, had the draft beer. You can buy Killian's Red by the gallons and half gallons. Everybody knows it as that. They might be like, oh man, that's your dad. I had no clue. I'm like, yep. So, two teenagers, both 14, 15 years old, something like that, 15, 16 years old. Sad deal there. I do believe that neither one has passed away, but, you get two teenagers shot. It's never, anybody gets shot, but especially young lives. It's never a good day at the office. That's for sure. Man, guys, that's really all I got tonight. I'm going to jump in these comments, and I may think of some other things I want to talk about, but I just kind of wanted to run through. I think about 45 minutes is really where we need to be with these shows, unless I got a co-host or a guest. Daryl, thank you, brother. Let's see. Angie says she moved in 2004. There was 1 year, man, back in 07. I think it was 07 to about 09, 07 to late 08, somewhere in there. I had a condo there on the water at the reservoir. That is, lake life living is, I don't care who you are. You all deserve, even if it's in an apartment, a condo, a house, whatever, everybody should go take 1 year of their life and go live where their back porch is the reservoir. The tranquility, the quality of life, and the peace of mind out there, on that side of Rankin, on that side of the reservoir, that Rankin County side of about a causeway, or really anywhere you can get along there, regardless of the side. Man, I'm gonna tell you, if the opportunity ever comes up for you to do that, presents itself, I highly recommend it. Even if you can't do it forever, take a year and just go take a deep breath. The traffic getting back and forth will drive you batshit crazy, but man, once you get there, talk about never wanting to leave. It's so peaceful. The way our apartment was, or it was actually a condo, but whatever, it looked like an apartment. It backed up sideways to the water, so that my front porch and my back porch were both on the water, sorta. You can see the water. If you see it, you're on it. I didn't have my own deck to walk out or nothing like that. I don't want to seem like I was a big timer, but it was still really nice. And man, just woosah when you got out there. You didn't have to worry about none of the Jxn nonsense going on. You had to get your liquor on the other side of the reservoir and kind of hunker down once you got there, but there wasn't no Ubers and stuff then either. You actually had to pay top dollar for a taxi to get anywhere. But I highly recommend that, man. Yeah, man, look, North Bay, it's a great area too. Love all that area. And look, when I get out of here, I'm telling you, that's where I'm going. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We are definitely going back over there to the 047 zip code. Never quit fighting for Jxn, but let's just be honest here. It ain't getting any better. Especially. Well, let's talk about that. If Chokwe gets elected, that sets it 4 more years back, which is really going to be about 10 if you count the damage that'll be done based on his first 4 years. If you do elect somebody else, you almost damn near got to commit to assuming they're not a complete screw up. It's going to take the first 4 years just to kind of start to get the ship pointed in the right direction. You're going to have to give them at least another 4. I don't have 8 more years of peak. I will be 50. I'm 43. I would be 50 years old by the time Jxn gets turned back in the right direction if no more screw-ups happen. I don't have the patience for that. I need to start enjoying some quality of life now. I mean, I'm healthy. I'm happy. But I don't have 8 more years of this fight in me at this rate. Something's got to change. I can't afford to move over to Eastover. But then I'm going to pay that kind of rent. I am just going to go to Rankin County and have clean water and police and all the things you don't get in South Jxn or any other part of Jxn for that matter. Look, be sure to support some local business. A lot of good places in Jxn, a lot of good people. My beef, the things I say about Jxn aren't about the people for the most part. Definitely not about the business owners. Not about the foot soldiers on the police department. We love those guys, everything they do. If you're handcuffed going into your job, what do you do? Get out, support a local business, stay safe, and be sure to join our Facebook group, Jxn Uncensored. Share these videos. I'm telling you, that's the biggest thing you can do. Be sure to link up with our YouTube channel, @SaveJxn, Twitter, @SaveJxn, Instagram, @SaveJxn. Every social media platform except TikTok, because I have no interest in doing dancing videos for y'all, we are on. So Save Jxn. Every platform, even LinkedIn. Not that I'm ever planning on offering anybody a job, but we're on LinkedIn too. So y'all stay safe, and see y'all tomorrow night. I'll be in the comments shortly replying to everybody.